Hi, everyone, and welcome to Step Up Your Studio, the success blueprint for your success. And today, in the hot seat, absolutely thrilled to have Noah Lands, who is the founder, CEO, and owner of Car Productions. Now, Car owns a bunch of competitions and conventions. You're familiar with most of them, I'm sure, if not all of them. Kids Artistic Review, Rainbow Dance Competition. They do also conventions with both of those. They have the Hollywood Dance Experience, New York City Dance Experience. The list goes on and on. He's a very busy man. 170 live events a year. We do one. God bless you. 170. That's a lot of work. I know you've got a great, great team. Noah, welcome and thanks for taking some time.
Oh, well, thank you, Steve, for having me here today. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. So let's get right into it. There's many people out there doing competitions, and any trends you see that potentially can maybe make life a little easier for folks, that maybe they're trying to do something or maybe they should do something else. Any tips on that that you can maybe give folks to help streamline the process of a weekend doing a competition?
Well, I think the at the very beginning, what they should do is look at the competition and figure out what kind of competition that they're really looking for. Because even within our own brands, we have a lot of different types of competition. We have car, which has more leveling. We have stricter rules. We have guidelines. We've really worked to make it a really fair competition for everyone that's competing there. We also have car exclusive. So car exclusive is for smaller studios. So if you're a newer studio, a smaller studio, you don't really want to compete against the big powerhouse studios. This is where you would want to go. Then we have Rainbow, which is more like a fun competition. It's a little less stressful. It's what we call our mystical competition because it really is. People go, they have a really lot of fun. They're not as intense as they would be maybe at a car competition. But then we have the super intense competition, which is called Ultra. That's our newest one. And so it's instant scoring, it's Olympic size venues. We try to bring in studios from different areas because a lot of times one of our main complaints is the fact that, if you're on Long Island, you're dancing against the same studios on Long Island
Yeah.
all season. So we try to bring in some studios from New Jersey, some studios from Connecticut. And so they get more of a mini national feel, but it's way more
Love it.
competitive.
Love that.
So that gives them that whole feel. So I think that's one of the first things they want to look at. They want to see what type of competition they're looking for. Are they really competitive? Do they want really strict rules, hard competition? Do they want to have more of a relaxed weekend? Do they want to compete more on a national level? So I think that would help them if they narrow that down first.
No, I love that, and I love that you have all those different options. Seeing on social media and just talking with teachers, where there always seems to be this kind of consternation is what, how how do certain teachers kind of fit their students into those categories, right? Is it more beginner? Is it more intermediate? And a lot of people I think feel that the teachers kind of fudge that a little bit. So walk us through how you guys kind of how you monitor and how I know like back it used to be if you did more than a double pirouette you were in a different category. So how do you guys monitor that?
So the different competitions have different guidelines. Car and Rainbow are the most consistent, and we have actually guidelines in that. We have terminology, we have turn sequence, we have certain acrobatic moves you can do in each level. So and we spell those out to the studios directly, and we also have videos that they can watch and they can see what we're talking about with different levels because as you know we travel all over the United States and they have different terminology. The
Yeah.
southern people do not call back handsprings back handsprings. They call it a different name. So with the videos that really helps our clientele because they can really see what we're talking about and where their kids should go. And then this year we have a judges task force. So I have two full-time employees that used to be involved in the dance competition business, but are no longer involved. One had a studio for many years. The other one was involved as far as a teacher at a dance studio, but now she teaches for college dance. So they actually are available all year to go in view routines, help teachers with where they think that they should put their routines, because we're really trying to make it fair. And you are right. People are really, really concerned about where the leveling is. Are the beginnings really, truly beginning anymore?
Yeah.
Because as we've seen dance progress, when I first started, and maybe when you first started, double pirouettes, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it
Now,
was really good. It
yeah,
was.
that was like, you're like, wow. Now,
Yeah.
now they're doing, 8, 9, 10. They're doing variations.
No,
They're
100%.
just, everything is elevated in dance. Dance is really
Yeah.
a big business now. And competition studios take a lot more dance. Their kids take a lot more dance. And I think as the generations come, they're better dancers. So,
Yes.
as they're better dancers, they become better teachers. And so as that develops, it really has made dance really more excellence in every way. So that's why we're trying to level it out. So we really can't put our true beginners in the beginning category. We're not having, people that are, pulling double pirouettes, triple pirouettes, 4 quad turns against, Susie, who's just really beginning, and she's
Yeah.
trying to do a single turn.
And
And
she
so
hasn't
that,
quite mastered spotting yet, but she's
yeah,
getting there.
she,
She's getting there.
yeah,
But
what
I know through the years with our studio, we had some students that, you know, just get it. And in 18 months, you're like, holy mackerel, they have really like mastered, they've just kind of taken off, right? And then there's other students that it's a little bit of a slower process. But I love that idea of kind of educating the studio owners and the teachers with videos and saying, hey, look, we feel that this would be best in this category. I love that, because then studio owners don't go to a competition and say, what's going on, what the heck is going on.
Right, right. Because, I do know some competitions. I won't name them by name, but I'll just say people will know, I have 3 granddaughters that dance. And so every now and then I go and I watch them. And sometimes it's very disheartening when you go and you're in the lowest level, because they're all pretty young. They're 5, 6, 7-year olds. When you're in the lowest level and you have a 7-year-old and they're dancing against dancers that are, way above them in experience, in technique, and you're thinking, why do they have them in the lower level? There's 2 other levels they could go up into. And so that's one thing I think that we're trying to change in this industry, as far as making sure that people do move their kids up, and
Yeah,
that they're in the right level, because you want everybody to have a, it's you want them to have a fair playing field.
yeah, and I think with for studio owners too, I think two main things right now. Well, the second one has always been, but the first one is that leveling, because back in the day there really wasn't leveling, right? Everybody competed and you just did it, and whatever award you got, and there was a gold, silver, and bronze, and yeah, people got bronze, and nobody died who got a bronze. They actually still lived. So it's certainly has changed. And then the other thing where there's always chatter is about judging, right? And who's judging and how's judging. Walk us through a little bit with some of the qualifications and training you give for your judges.
So this year, we started last year actually with our judges task force. And so this year, every judge we have is accredited. They have to take a training course with us. And we hit all the different genres
Yes.
of dance, and we have videos on them. So we've actually went out and we have found experts in Bollywood that will teach them at least the fundamentals of what this dance is all about. Because we have teachers always want experts in every field, but you're never going to find experts in every field of dance.
No.
We when we go to the South, we have clogging. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people on the West Coast don't even know what clogging is. But if they go to like Mobile, Alabama, they have to know at least some of the technical aspects of it. So that's what we've done. We've went and we've done almost every form of dance now, and we make our judges actually watch the videos. We give them a quiz on the videos just to make sure they know that. We also give them critiquing on how to critique. We want positive critiques.
Yeah.
And we try to tell our judges, you're there to enhance, first of all, the dancer on the stage, and you're there to enhance the teacher that's taught that routine. And maybe it's not what you would have done on stage, but that's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to judge what's on the stage
Yeah, I love
and
that.
tell us what they can do to improve and to be better. And so I'm very proud of our judges this year. We've really, really put a lot of money and effort into our judging, and it's really paid off.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think, like I said, those are two big, a lot of people look at a lot of competitions have great production value, but the two things I think that can make or break you are the judging and in the category, right? Those, because if
Absolutely.
somebody has a bad taste in their mouth, and I mean for me too, when I was judging back in the day, obviously they wanted you to talk, but this incessant talking all the way through the routine, I feel is almost too much. I mean, you don't have to talk for 2 minutes about pointing your feet. You can just say something quick about it and kind of move on. And sometimes, I mean, I know for myself, if I was really judging a routine, I really liked it. There'd be moments when I would not say much, and then all of a sudden I'd say, I'm taking it all in. I love what you're doing. I love the staging here, very creative. And sometimes it doesn't have to be necessarily, like you said, it doesn't have to always be a critique that's on the minus. It could be a critique on, what you like too, right? They want to hear
Right.
that.
Absolutely. I one of my favorite critiques ever was it was on a routine it really was breathtaking. And I was fortunate enough that I was sitting down there with the judges and I watched the routine. And then I could hear there's no talking. There's no talking. The judges are mesmerized by this routine. And then at the very end, I mean, and the teacher had to be excited when she got the critiques because I heard the judge next to me say, I don't even know what I would have said about that routine, but I couldn't say anything because that routine brought me into. I was
Yeah.
mesmerized by it. That's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets. When
Yeah.
I am lost for words, teacher, congratulations. Dancers,
Exactly.
congratulations. You did everything you're supposed to do on the stage. And the critique I can give you is you did a great, great job.
Yeah.
That was
And
their critique. And
yeah.
sometimes that's really what it is. It's just,
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot
not
of times.
everything has to be bad and not everything has to be on and on. But I love that you've invested the time and energy and I'm sure finances into making sure that, everybody's on the same page with that. Because one thing, I know anybody that puts on, whether you're putting on a show, a competition, a conference, what you want to try to do is replicate the production all the time. And once you nail that, that becomes, well, not that it's easy, but that's easier to replicate than it is with people who are coming in and critiquing, right? Because it's a different crew every week. You don't have the same people come together. So that's really important part. And I love that you do that, and especially with doing as many events, as you guys do each year. What do you find, for somebody that does, with people who put on recitals, right, or putting on events, you do 170. What's one of the biggest challenges that you find of putting on an event every weekend?
Well, actually finding the right judges. That really is quite an undertaking because when we're doing that many events, we have to have so many qualified judges. And we also have to, they can't all work every weekend. So one other thing that we did this year, which was Mary Gold's idea, who is our head judge task, is we brought on younger judges. So at CAR, I never really liked to bring anyone on that was at least 25 years old because I figured they have to have some experience in teaching and dancing, and they have to. So this year we actually brought it down to 22, and we actually brought them in as new hires. I can't think of the word that she has a word for it, but it's excluding me right now. But anyway, these younger judges come in and they come in with a panel. They don't actually judge. They sit there and they listen.
Oh, almost like an
And they
apprentice they are, right?
apprentice, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
Apprentice
yeah,
judges.
yeah.
So yes, so we bring in. So at the very beginning of the season, we had 22 apprentice judges, and they have to go to 3 different shows and sit with qualified judges. So they're going to sit there, listen to them, take in what they're saying, watch the routines. Then after the 3 shows, we let them actually critique 2 shows. And those come back to our judge task force. They listen to the critiques. And then after the 5 weekends, then they can actually go out on a show. If they've passed everything and they sound good, they look good, then they can start judging on their own. But this is just a way for us to start training new judges, because as we found out, you could be a great dancer, a beautiful choreographer, but you don't know how to critique kids,
Yeah.
or you don't know the right things to say, because like you said, it's got to be positive. We can't
Yeah.
have negative. Negative is not going to work with anybody. And
No.
so that's one thing that's really helped us. And that's one of the things I think that we have had a lot of success with. But it is a difficulty in finding so many judges to judge all these different routines,
No,
to
that
keep
has
them
to
up
be.
to the standard that we want.
But congratulations, bravo. I love that you're doing that and training, because how do people learn how to judge, right? And
Right.
especially if you have a certain way that you want them to judge. One of the things that I've noticed too with competition, and we our studio, we always do a lot of ballet, and it always seems too like, for some reason, ballet is judged at a whole nother level than some of the other forms of dance. And I always think to myself, as a studio owner, and a studio owner of multiple disciplines, sometimes one of the hardest sells we have is getting kids into ballet class, right? So we want them to take ballet because we know, they're going to be a better jazz dancer, contemporary dancer, lyrical dancer, just about everything, because that they're going to learn that solid foundation. And sometimes it's a little disheartening, I think, when you see them judge ballet so much harder, like they're looking at ABT. I mean, the kids are not going to be perfect all the time. But if you see a really strong ballet piece, what a message does that send to all of the studio owners in the building, that they could say to their kids, look, this ballet piece won a high score award, and they didn't do any acro, and they did a solid ballet piece. So that's something that I would just, again, maybe that's an old school philosophy, but I know when I was judging, if I saw a good ballet piece, and I was more jazz, but anytime I saw a ballet, I always loved that.
And I try to explain to our judges, for many, many years, that, they all have ballet fundamentals, all dancers, because they all took ballet. So
Yeah.
it's easy for them to be way more critical on ballet. And
Yes.
and I believe, like you did, I said, why do you want to be harder on them when that's what we're trying to get everybody to do? We're trying to get them to take ballet,
Yeah, I know.
because that will make them a better dancer in all the other forms of dance. So let's try to reward ballet if we can. But as I found out in many, many years of doing this, because I've been doing this for a long time. When I first did my first competitions, when you say we gave out gold, silver, bronze, I gave out first place out of the whole competition.
Yeah.
So we had 32 numbers. We gave out one first place. That was it.
And
So
everybody was happy in the end still too,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah. There was only one first place. They just
that was
wanted to
it.
know. And it's really funny, because I do talk to a lot of teachers, and a lot of my teachers have been with me for a lot of years. And I said, when I first started CAR, people were so hungry for critiques.
Yeah.
So now people are so critical of how the judges critique and what they say. Then they just wanted to critique because there was none. So they were
Yes.
so excited to have anybody judging them that it's changed. Of course, the industry has changed a lot. And so we do have to keep improving. But yes, with ballet, I think that's, we need to encourage it whenever we can.
Yeah.
And we
No,
try to.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. So not that Noah's not busy enough. He also has another passion, and I know this is very near and dear to your heart, Dancers Against Cancer. That you started this back in 2013, right? Is that when you launched this?
Right.
Yeah. So talk everyone through that. I know that this is an incredible endeavor that you've taken on. So tell us why this started, and your thought and motivation behind this.
All right. So I started Dancers Against Cancer because I actually had a competitor, a little girl that danced in my competition, that danced all the way up until she was an adult, and then she came to work for us. She was she worked for us for, I think, 5 seasons. I had known her forever, and then she developed brain cancer, and then sadly enough, she passed away from it. And so, in her memory, because it really affected my company, she was so exuberant. She was such a big part of everything, everywhere she went, that we decided to raise money. So, the next 2 years, we raised money in her memory, and I donated it to different cancer charities. But the last year when I donated it, I really did a little bit more research because I started researching, because we were starting to raise more money. We're up to $80,000, I think, at that time. And so I wanted to know where the money was going. So when I found out exactly where the money went and how much of the money went to the people or the research, what I found out was most of the money is going to overhead. It's going to the people that work there. It's not going to help the people that I want to help. So that's when I started Dancers Against Cancer. And my main goal was to really help dancers. I want to help dancers. I don't care if they're 5 years old, professional dancers, choreographers. We help anyone in the dance community. But one thing that I wanted to make sure of was that 90 cents of every dollar actually went back out to these individuals. And I'm proud to say that we do. We have one full-time employee for Dancers Against Cancer. Everything else is volunteer. And so that's how we keep our costs down so much, so that when we get a $20,000 donation, almost all of that money will go back to dancers needing it. And we don't put any specific term on how they have to spend the money, because we have, every story is different. We have hope stories. And so every child is different. Every adult is different. I don't know where they need to use the money, because some adults they're behind in their rent. Some children need more medicine. We had once a little boy that we gave money to, and then he passed away a week later, and then his mother wanted to return the money. And I said, no, this was for him. So do something for your family. You guys have had a really hard 6 months. So take this, go to Disneyland with it, whatever you need to do to mend your family. That's what the money is for. And so this is why it's so important to me. And it is a big community affair. I'm really proud. People talk about the dance community, and you always see the negative part about it. Very rarely do you see the beautiful part of dance. People don't want to show that. But Dancers Against Cancer really is a beautiful community. All the money is raised from dance studios locally, Hope Studios. It's raised throughout the whole United States. It really is, and takes an army of people to bring in the money. And as it continues on, of course, there's more cases of cancer, there's more hope stories. We need more money. And as we need more money, people are stepping up, choreographers, Brian Friedman, Blake McGrath, just to name a couple. There's tons. I could go on and on and on. Paula Abdul. There's just so many professionals that are there to help us. And that's what's so beautiful about it, because they all come back to help these dancers. And I think that's really a beautiful thing.
No, that's fantastic that you're doing that. And I know, you've worked with some great folks partnering in with this. Derek and Julian Huff also have joined you, and the late Olivia Newton-John. So I love that.
And don't forget, our biggest star of all was this year with Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
That was incredible. That was an incredible moment for everybody that was there with her.
No, incredible. And dance. I have to tell you, Dance Teacher Web, we're proud to join you this year, and love what you're doing with that. So tell studios out there that are listening to this, Noah, how can they get involved in this? Because people will be inspired by this.
So what we really want and what we really need are Hope Studios. So when I got up and I talked at our gala last year, I don't have it on top of my head, but I'm just going to make up a number. But say there's 85,000 dance studios in the United States. I have the actual number then, but I'm making it up right now. 85,000 dance studios. Okay, so we're so proud to say that we have 39 Hope Studios. 39. Now the 39 together raised over $300,000, which is incredible. And but if we had 5,000 Hope Studios that raised $1,000 each, that would be $500,000. So that's where we really need the help. We need more people to become involved. And like I always tell studios, you can raise $50, $100, $500. We'll take $5, because that's how it all adds up. And the more dancers that become involved in it, the more money we'll raise. The more money we raise, the more dancers we can help. And so that's the main point that I would want to get out is, it doesn't matter if you're a studio of 25 or a studio of 5,000.
Yeah, 100%.
Any amount of money, and organizations like yours that jump in there and help us, we're so thankful for. Thank you, Steve. for
No, well,
helping us. We
no, well,
need the
look,
help. And
this is amazing what you're doing. Absolutely amazing. And when you were saying about the amount doesn't matter, I remember growing up as a kid, the big thing was the Jerry Lewis telethon, and people would call in and donate any $50, and he would end up raising, millions of dollars just from, folks giving a little. Everybody thinks, oh, this little bit doesn't matter, but it does. So if a studio, where do they go to? What website do they go to, and how do they sign up to become a Hope Studio?
they go to I'mADancerAgainstCancer.org.
Say
That's
that
our
one more
website.
time.
I'm a dancer against cancer. I'm a dancer against cancer.org.
.org.
And they would talk to Jocelyn Basham. She'll set them up with everything, and she'll tell them we have videos that will show them. I'm so passionate about this. I want to get up and tell you, we have studios that go to the local mall and they dance and have buckets and they collect $1,000. We have studios that have galas. We have studios that do a fashion show. Studios have come up with so many great ideas to help with this that it's just amazing. And it really is just part of becoming a part of this community. And this is a really beautiful part of the dance community when you can see you're helping a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, a dance mom, a dance teacher,
Yes.
a famous choreographer. We've had all of them.
So 39 studios you said you have right now?
39 Hope Studios is what we have
Okay,
right
we
now.
got to double that, folks, but let's double it. Come on now, Joe, let's jump in here. Let's get that meter rolling. Let's get it cranking. Let's double it. Let's get it up to at least 100 by the end of the year. Let's put it out to the universe, Let's put it out to the universe.
We're working so hard on this to really get that word out there, to get more Hope Studios. That is really where it will help us.
Well, we're gonna do after hearing this story too. I'm gonna reach out to you guys. Let's put together an email. We'll send it out to our entire list, and let's see. I mean, does it have to be a studio here in America, or it can be anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere. Love it.
We had Australian Hope Studios. We used to do a tour in Australia. We don't go there anymore, but we have Australian Hope Studios. We really have people that will donate from all over the world if they want to. We will help people wherever we can. We have certain limitations because we are a U.S. charity. Yes. But we will try to help anybody with cancer that we can.
Yeah, I love it. Well, look at that's amazing. So it's I'mADancerAgainstCancer.org.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
Okay, so folks, get onto that website. Let's go. Let's get it cranking. Let's double this from 39 to at least 100 if we can. Noah, yes. Any parting words before we wrap it up? Any last words of wisdom or advice you'd like? You've been in this business a long time. You've seen studios come and go along the way. Any one tip or motivational thought you'd like to leave the audience that they can take with them?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell them the words of, unfortunately, she's not here anymore, but she was one of my favorite dance teachers of all times. She competed. She was fiercely competitive. She was very successful. But at the end of the day, always remember, this is just dance. This is dance. This is joy. This is fun. When you lose the dance with the joy and the fun, then it's not dance anymore. So I think as long as everybody can really remember that, at the end of the day, this is just dance. And we're lucky that we're able to do this. I think that's the departing words that I would leave. That's what she left with me when I would get highly, sometimes frustrated in this community at a competition. She would always, she always seemed to be there. And that's what she would always say. Hey, this is just dance. Relax. It's dance. It's fun.
Look at it. If no one takes anything else out of this, that's 100%. And it's funny, right? How our teachers say something to us or people that were involved in the industry, and they'll say something, and even when they're gone, their words live on. And I love that.
Absolutely. I'll always remember that. No matter what's going on, how crazy it is, we do a big gala, and sometimes we did have Liza Minnelli this year, and it was a little stressful.
Yeah.
But those words kept coming through my head, with our executive producer Adrian. He's like, oh my gosh, is she coming down? What's going to happen? And I'm like, it's okay, it's just dance, it'll be okay. in the end, it'll be okay. And it always is. So
It
it
is.
works out
It
perfect.
is. It always is. It's not life or death. And just
Yes.
on a side note, you got a fabulous team, rock stars, Adrian and everybody else, really great folks to work with, and I've enjoyed working with them. Thanks
Yes,
again
I'm very
too
blessed.
for being a big part of Dance Teacher Web, and look forward to seeing all of you at the conference again this year. Got a great event planned. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're looking forward to being there. So sounds great.
All right. Noah, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, everybody. And we'll see you next time on Step Up Your Studio.